Hey folks, Old Man Grognard here, and today we're going to talk about a little company that's no longer with us but produced a lot of good stuff called Judges Guild. I'm leaning on my collection of Judges Guild right now. This is the top of it. From here to my desk is 15 inches, so I've got a lot of Judges Guild. Here's just part of it. Okay. Now, Judges Guild was founded shortly after D&D came along. Because it was the brainchild and love of Bob Bledsaw. He had the idea of, hey, we can make adventures and supplements for this game D&D. And he approached TSR, who them and Gary didn't think there was any money in it because people would be making their own adventures. Well, Judges Guild proved him wrong. They got a license for to do it for D&D, and they did it. In fact, TSR yanked the license after a few years because they realized, hey, we're missing out on an opportunity. So Judges Guild came up with the Universal system, which was, to me, D&D with the serial numbers filed off, because you can pretty much line it up with D&D and figure out, and you can still use them. I mean, they had a lot of stuff in there, I think, just to say, okay, it's not D&D. Anyway, they were the first ones to turn out a campaign world, which was the Wilderlands of High Fantasy. And this was the first book for it, The City-State of the Invincible Overlord. This retailed in the day for $8 at this printing. And you got a lot of bang for your buck. We're talking like all the city-state described and giving you enough room to do your own thing. They were really good at that. And dig this. This is Thunderhold. This is a dwarven fortress. Okay? This is an example of the kind of maps you'd find in Judges Guild. Absolutely beautiful. And here's the level of a dungeon. Right there. Doesn't that make your mouth water? And they just did fantastic things. They finally came out with the city-state, the Wilderlands of High Fantasy, set, which I don't have, unfortunately, but I'm dying to get. I think I have Wilderlands of High Fantasy, one of the books. I think there's 2 books. I'm not sure. But, they followed that up with, here's Wraith Overlord, which deals with the sewers under the city-state. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 region books for the Wilderlands. Plus, they turn out maps for the Wilderlands. I believe there's 28 of them, and they all link up. Oh, and dig this. After Dave Arneson left TSR, Judges Guild published this, the first fantasy campaign by Dave Arneson. This is where Blackmoor started, right here. Here's another city, Tarantis. Again, big supplement with maps. And, it wasn't all, and they turned out some classic stuff like Dark Tower, Mines of Thracia by Janelle Jacques, Temple of Rockhurst by Set. It wasn't all Egyptian stuff. Glory Hole Dwarven Mine, one of my favorite adventures for D&D. They even turned out like Traveler stuff and a few things for Tunnels and Trolls. Rat on a Stick. Once you get past the Rat on a Stick franchise stuff, it's a pretty good dungeon. It really is. And let me tell you about what else they would do. It's going to blow your mind. They turned out magazine. You can get a subscription to, I think it was the Judges Guild Journal, it was first called, and then called the Dungeoneer. And they had a companion magazine which they put out more of called Pegasus. And look at this. This is an issue of Pegasus. For $12 a year, you would get something like that. Look how thick that is. The page count is unreal. And it's 94 pages. And this is just a typical, I think they were quarterly, I'm not sure. I thought they were monthly, but I'm not sure. According to this, issue 3 is And it doesn't say what month it is. Oh, copyright 1981, blah, blah, blah. No, nothing. But they would put all these articles in there, and they give you monsters and magic items and, the usual stuff. And they give you adventures. Oh my God, the adventures. Inside the middle of it would be either an adventure or a supplement for the city-state. And it was the equivalent of one of the ones they sell. I mean, they could easily get $6 just for the supplement. Here's another Pegasus. Let's see if I can find the adventure in here. Here it is. The Ozarene Pirates, a city-state campaign installment. Right there. From there to there. If you can see it, see. From there to there. That's an adventure. That's a supplement. A whole supplement for this thing. And I'm thinking maybe that's part of the reason they went under. Also, the things got, somebody said that things got better as far as layout and, things and editing. And they didn't. They put all the hard work in this. And, a lot of the supplements, you've got some really good supplements in there, really good adventures, but some of them are really good and some of them are utter crap. Even the crappy ones are fascinating to read, though. Stuff like Of Skulls and Scrap Faggot Green, or what's that infamous one? The Search for Kalinder's Gold, which I hear is kind of good, but I can't get over the cover, which is a total ripoff of Star Wars. It's just like Luke Skywalker in medieval times. But, if you can get these, if you can find these, fantastic. I know they're selling some on PDF. And I know Mayfair and other companies like the D20 guys did it and are redoing it. And there's another thing, they're doing it again for 5th edition. But the originals are the best as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, everything old is new again. Now I'm going to bore you a bit with a story about how I got this awesome collection. But my friends who've heard this just skip over this part. I have a favorite game store when I was living in Long Beach, California, called The Warehouse. Hi, Lucky. And I walked in there one day. I was living with my mother at the time, getting back on my feet and working. I walked in there and I see this big wooden rack in the back filled with Judges Guild stuff. I didn't know what they wanted for it. It was even for sale. And I was like, God, there's a lot of stuff here. The saying, everything old is new again? That's the idea I had. And this was during 3rd edition, too. And I went up to the cashier and I said, what's with the wooden rack? He says, we used to be a grenadier shop. We used to sell Judges Guild. And that's just like the leftover stuff. And I said, is it for sale? He says, yeah. I says, well, how much? And he said, well, whatever's on the cover, half price. So 3 armloads later, I started my Judges Guild collection. And I've added to it ever since. I added the city-state. I'm still looking for Caverns of Thracia, Janelle or whoever can help me. And also a copy of the Wilderlands of High Fantasy. So anyway, if you guys got Judges Guild stories or if you want to, talk about it or ask me a question about it, please, oldmangrognard@gmail.com. Nobody's sending me any emails. I was wondering about that. Maybe it's because I don't mention it every show, do you think? But anyway, that's my Judges Guild show, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.